watched Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin today on State of the Union with Jake Tapper. And one of the things that I really came to the conclusion of rather quickly is that when it comes to policy and when it comes to the ability to win over people and when it comes to the idea of the possibility of being elected, I found it, when you put all the pieces together, this is a guy that actually can appear mainstream, but is really no different than any MAGA Republican. And in fact, he knows how to triangulate well. When it comes to comparing him with somebody like DeSantis wouldn't stand a chance, especially based on the moves that he's making, even with the help of Liz Cheney. I want you to play this, and then I'll close exactly what I'm talking about and explain the danger of this guy in a minute. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side.
You're very popular on the campaign trail right now. Lots of governors, Republican governors and candidates bringing you in. You're headed to Arizona to campaign for Republican gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake, who has repeatedly denied the fact that you accept that Joe Biden was lawfully, legally, and legitimately elected in 2020. Kari Lake has also said if she had been governor, she would not have certified the election, unlike Governor Ducey, your contemporary right now, Republican. Congresswoman Liz Cheney takes issue with you supporting Kari Lake. Take a listen.
Governor Youngkin in Virginia is doing a good job. I think that he's demonstrated that he's somebody who has not bought into the toxin of Donald Trump, but he campaigned recently for Kari Lake, who's an election denier, who is dangerous, and that's the kind of thing we cannot see in our party.
You haven't gone to Arizona yet, but you were about to. But what's your response? Because I do think that there are a lot of reasonable, pragmatic, fact-based Republicans who are disappointed that you're doing this.
In order for us to press forward in the Republican Party, we in fact need to do that. Look forward, not backwards. And what I found in Virginia was that we could bring together forever Trumpers and never Trumpers and libertarians and Tea Party members. And oh, by the way, lots of independents and lots of Democrats. And I think that the Republican Party has to be a party where we are not shunning people and excluding them because we don't agree on everything. We just don't agree on everything. But what we can agree on is that, in fact, in states led by Republican governors, those states have outperformed by far states run by Democrat governors. And what Arizona deserves is a Republican governor who will keep taxes down, who will support school choice, who will bring companies into the economy to create opportunity. And that is a heck of a lot better than undoing everything that Governor Ducey has done. And therefore, as I have supported a handful of candidates and campaigned with them, what I find is the same issues everywhere we go, is that Virginians and Americans are worried about the cost of living that is running away from them, making ends meet, safety in their community, and they're worried about education. And these are Republican values with common sense solutions that I think Americans want and Arizonans. But that's why they're going to be much better off with Kari Lake.
And until recently, I thought that standing up for democracy and the rule of law and election integrity was also a Republican value. This isn't a disagreement over tax policy. This woman doesn't believe in legitimate elections. She says that she wouldn't have certified for the election for Joe Biden, which is nothing that you would do. And it's nothing that the current Republican governor did. This isn't just about like, oh, we have a disagreement on education. This is about democracy.
Well, let me just step back. First of all, this is not about January 6th, right? January 6th was an abomination. And in fact, anybody who committed violence on January 6th and broke the law should be held fully accountable. This is about making sure that we understand that there is distrust in the election process. Let's just be clear. And oh, by the way, that distrust was expressed by Democrats in 2000 and 2016. I ran against an election denier.
But this is different. But this was an effort by the president of the United States to undo the election. It's not just rhetoric or a vote here and there. It was an action. You know this. It was an effort by Donald Trump to hold on to power.
We absolutely saw it was an effort by Donald Trump to hold on to power. But let's first get something straight. Yes, I want the togetherness, and I think you approach Trumpists and non-Trumpists, and you want to approach all of those. But here's the main issue. First of all, let's correct something that a good journalist at Jake Tapper normally is. Let's slide. That states run by Republicans are doing much, much better than state run by Democrats. In other words, red states doing better than blue states is a fallacy and a farce. The reality is, just like Alabama and Mississippi and all these other red states are beggar states. In other words, they take more money from the federal government in order to keep their taxes lower so that they don't need to provide the services to their own. So those of you in blue states, you are supporting those in red states so that they can go out there and market themselves as low tax havens. So let's get it clear. These red states take more from the federal government than they put in. These red states have poorer health outcomes than we have in the blue states. These red states have more crimes by guns than the blue states. So Jake Tapper made that lie go by on our national airwaves unchallenged, which means after this show, a lot of folks are going to leave that show thinking, oh, Republican states are doing better than blue states. Maybe on these marginal races, we should give them a chance. So let's correct the record first of all. And everything stated here can be corroborated by the numbers. You can do the research, not just take what I'm saying at face value. What makes Youngkin much more dangerous than, let's say, a DeSantis is DeSantis outwardly wants to look like a Trumpist. He wants to look like a Trump person with a bit more intellect. But you know what? Glenn Youngkin already has the moderate mantra that the media has helped post on him. And you have a Liz Cheney who is saying, oh, you know, Youngkin is doing a good job as a conservative in his state. And then she criticizes him for supporting Trumpists and election deniers. He got the best of both worlds right there. And what is that? He gets the moderate kudos. So all those people who are thinking, oh, he's a Trump guy. No, you don't have to worry about him being a Trump guy. He's a moderate guy. The mainstream media has already said he's a moderate guy. And then he goes against the no Trumpist people and support a Carol Lake in Arizona and support a lot of other election denying candidates and many others, right? So he goes ahead and he establishes his MAGA bona fides. So therefore, when election time comes around, he has a large percentage of all these groups within the Republican Party that a DeSantis wouldn't have, given DeSantis's pure and preferred allegiance to Donald Trump. So we have to be careful because there's no difference between Donald Trump, DeSantis, or Youngkin. They all support the same policies that decimate the middle class. You heard him say tax cuts. You heard him say that somehow they believe in families, though the policies that they support nowhere comes close to even what we consider marginal in Build Back Better and other types of democratic policies that really, really helps people. They're still talking about employment. Earlier in the interview, he spoke about, we need to get more people employed because the employment, the utilization rate goes down. Utilization rate is how many of the available population that could be in the workforce is actually in the workforce. And it has dropped from 67 to, I think, 62%. That percentage drop, however, don't let it fool you. That is how they document it. It doesn't count people that have decided to have new careers as if in front of a screen that nobody's recording them has been gainfully employed, but they're at home and they're making some money by doing the things they want to do at the same time that they're taking care of their kids. In other words, they get the best of both worlds, what the corporatocracy is unable to give them because of the lack of flexibility, because they want to own you, they want to enslave you in the form of indentured servitude to be at the office and do what you have to do for them. So my fear, and again, when it comes to crime, all of that, it isn't better in these red states. My fear is the lack of aggressiveness, the lack of certitude, the lack of too many Democrats going out there and asserting what they've done, asserting what they will do, and not fighting the battle on a defensive posture, but fighting it on an offensive posture. It is you, the GOP policies, that are causing the deaths of our people with lack of health care, with the inability to fund water sources, with the inability to have energy prices at a reasonable price by doing things within the energy industry that will force them not to gouge the American people. But if you don't want to nationalize these companies, go ahead and windfall profit tax out of them and then give back that money to the American people from whom it was stolen. Again, Youngkin is so much more dangerous than DeSantis and Trump combined because he comes in a package that speaks extremely well, extremely moderate, and also knows how to lie without even blinking an eye. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.